Tiwa replied angrily, "But Mama, Tundi is my boyfriend. How could you allow Shalewa to do something like this?" Mama Jedida replied, "Tiwa, Tiwa, Tiwa, how many times did I call your name? You are way older than Tundi, and your sister Shalewa is just 27. Let her marry Tundi, or do you want the whole of Lagos to laugh at me that my daughter married someone younger than her? Please let them be." It all started in the bustling city of Lagos, where there lived a young African woman named Tiwa. Tiwa was 32 years old and unmarried. She met a man called Tundi, who was 30 years old. One day, when Tiwa was coming back from work, she accidentally bumped into Tundi. They chatted for a while and exchanged numbers. As they got closer, Tundi asked Tiwa if he could visit her at home so he could introduce himself to her family members. Tiwa was hesitant at first, but she agreed. The next day, someone knocked at the door, and Shalewa, Tiwa's younger sister, opened it. On seeing Tundi, she sighed, feeling disgusted. Tiwa's mom, Mama Jedida, and Shalewa hated Tundi's dressing. Tundi bent a knee to greet Mama Jedida. She immediately shifted herself with a disgusted look. Mama Jedida and Shalewa left Tiwa to entertain her visitor. They refused to serve him food or anything in their house, including water. So Tiwa had to buy cooked food and drinks at the local vendor not too far from her house. When they left, Tiwa went to the kitchen and asked her sister Shalewa and her mother why they behaved in such a manner. Tiwa said, "Mama, you made Tundi feel uncomfortable. Why did you behave in such a way?" Mama Jedida replied, "Did you see how he was dressed? Even a beggar dresses better. He is not allowed to step foot in my house again with such dressing. I don't know what you are doing with a man who dresses like that." Shalewa intervened. "Sister, are you blind? I can never have anything to do with somebody like that, not to talk of wishing any girl to meet somebody like that." After hearing what her sister and mother said, Tiwa silently moved to her room, feeling worried. The next day, Tiwa visited Tundi and spoke to him calmly. She said, "Babe, I think we should do something about your dressing. You know, people treat you based on how you present yourself. Even when it comes to getting a job. What do you think?" Tundi replied, "Okay, babe, can we go do the shopping together?" And later that day, Tiwa and Tundi went to the market to buy clothes for him. Weeks passed, and Tundi visited Tiwa at her family house again. This time, Shalewa and Mama Jedida were praising him. They treated him well, serving him food, and they even sat in the living room, joining in on Tundi and Tiwa's discussion. When Tundi left, Tiwa was very happy that her family finally accepted her boyfriend. One day, when Tiwa was coming back from work, she was surprised to see Tundi at her family house, sitting in the living room with her sister Shalewa. Tiwa said, "Tundi, you didn't inform me you were coming. I'm surprised to see you here. Why didn't you text me you were here so I could leave work early and see you?" Shalewa replied, Tundi is not here to see you. He is here to see me. Tiwa was shocked and confused. Before a word could leave her mouth, Shalewa said, Tunde was just about to leave. Tiwa was in disbelief. Is this not her sister, who said she can never talk to a man like Tunde? So later on in the evening, when Tiwa went to the kitchen to plate some food, Mama Jedida was so happy as she said, Thank you so much for bringing Tunde into our lives. Shalewa and Tunde are in a relationship now, all thanks to you. Tiwa replied angrily, But Mama, Tunde is my boyfriend. How could you allow Shalewa to do something like this? Mama Jedida replied, yelling, Tiwa, 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 how many times did I call your name? You are way older than Tunde, and your sister Shalewa is just 27. Let her marry Tunde. Or do you want the whole of Lagos to laugh at me that my daughter married someone younger than her? Please, just let them be. Be cool. As Mama Jedida left the kitchen, Tiwa cried. She couldn't believe the words that just left her mother's mouth. This was the height of betrayal. It shocked her to her core. In the weeks that followed, Tiwa tried reaching Tunde, but he blocked her from all social media platforms. She went to visit him in a bid to get an explanation for his recent absurd behavior. On knocking the door, her sister Shalewa opened the door. Shalewa wore very short dresses. Tiwa was so disgusted at the sight and rudely asked Shalewa, Where is Tunde? Shalewa replied, Why are you looking for my boyfriend? Please leave this house and never return. Tiwa replied, Shalewa, are we mates? I am your elder sister and I will enter this house whether you like it or not. As Tiwa tried to enter the house, Shalewa locked the door in her face. Tiwa's eyes were filled with tears as she moved on the streets. She went back home to her room and cried bitterly. She cried and prayed and asked God to handle her case. A few days later, Mama Jedida came to see Tiwa in her room. She spoke of Shalewa and Tunde's wedding date, and Jedida left her room. Tiwa wondered, what type of mother would do this to her own daughter? Does my mother really love me? Tiwa found a verse in the Bible that she recited daily. The wedding ceremony of Tunde and Shalewa was a success, but Tiwa did not attend. She rather went to work, as she had been trying to put everything behind her. A few weeks after the wedding, Tiwa continued her life normally. She went to church, she worked very hard and got a promotion. She started earning enough to get a small apartment in Lagos. One day, Tiwa's supervisor at work assigned her to do field work for a couple of days in the village. Immediately the next day, Tiwa packed her things, got into a bus and left for the village. On arriving, the villagers gave her a hut to live in. She spoke to the villagers daily and visited their plantations where she submitted reports on it to her supervisor. On one of her rounds, she met a handsome young man named Uchi. They talked and became friends. Regularly, they met at the plantation. They watched movies together, they cooked together, and Tiwa was very happy. They frequently texted each other, and slowly enough, Tiwa started opening her heart once more to someone. When their field work was over, Tiwa promised to go out on a date with Uchi. And while Tiwa was occupied with work and had numerous dates with Uche, Shalewa's family was breaking every day. Tunde was openly cheating on Shalewa, bringing in new girls every day to their house in her presence. In no time, Tunde drove Shalewa from the house and married another woman. Shalewa went back to Mama Jedida's house, regretting her actions every day. If only she could turn back the hands of time. Mama Jedida equally blamed herself for ruining Shalewa's life. In the end, Uche proposed to Tiwa. She knew she had found the one. They got married and lived happily ever after, leaving behind the turmoil and betrayals of the past. Tiwa found solace and true love in Uche, building a future filled with trust and happiness.